here we go. I like to start with some concealer on the lids. Just gives a little bit more of a base for colors. But we need to put the powder on it as soon as we're done. So we're just going to cover that lid with our concealer. You can just use your primer as well. This is just an alternative. Now, when we talk about eye shape, Fran has a hooded lid. And she's really hydrated. You can always tell when you can't blend very well, then that means that your eye is so dry that you need to have some hydration. So I'm setting it with our translucent powder, just a nice stipple before we dive into our colors. And then just a little bit on this side. Fran, how comfortable are you using eye colors?
Not comfortable at all.
So this is a good starting point.
It is a very good starting point.
Okay, so I'm going to take a little of this gold status. This gold status is going to go right underneath the brow. So it's going to be a nice highlighter. So notice how just a gentle pat, pat, pat gives us that nice little glow. And then in the corner. Right in the corner. Now, what is a hooded eye? A hooded eye is when the heaviness of the lid, go ahead and open. This is the heavier part of the eyelid, and the eye color, the iris, isn't as visible because we have a lot of the skin there. So makeup is an illusion. We are going to try and create the illusion that this skin is lifted. And we do that by using darker shades. So dark recedes, light attracts. So when we talk about contouring and highlighting, notice this little area here is called a highlight with this highlight gold color because it's going to bring the attention, bring this part out. And now we're going to put a darker color. So I'm using let's just go back to these color choices. I'm going to go ahead and take this rustic, and with my all over powder brush, I'm actually just going to, starting right here on this heavier part of the lid, I'm going to put this rustic color on the lid. And we can go down a little bit as we work it in. The one thing people, I think, make a mistake with makeup is they use those little travel size disposable, those little teeny ones, Fran, the people.
That's what I do.
Little applicators. And a brush set creates that nice, it's just a lot more professional look. So you can just see how I put a little of that color there. I worked it in. I'll go ahead and do both sides. And if you don't mind turning a little bit towards the wall. So just starting from the outer corner of the eye, and if you pick up, you'll notice we all have a bone, and you can do your pull up your muscle here on your eyebrow. So you can use your muscle or you can just pull it up with your skin. And what I'm doing is I'm going right into where this little recessed area is. And so if you're fast and needing to be a little lazy, you could just take your brush and put a big long line and then work it in. Or you can do what I'm doing, which is just gently working that color in to the corner. Now notice I didn't necessarily go all the way to the lid. We're using multiple colors. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn my attention to our moss. So this is the moss color. So with the same brush, I'm just going to now put this moss down on the lid. So it's almost like, now notice how it's almost like 1, 2, 3 for Fran. Instead of going in a vertical method or vertical line, we're just doing more of a horizontal line right now for this look. And that's primarily because with her shape of her lid. And you can do different ways depending on your application. Okay, so notice the lid itself. I need a little bit more right here. So see how I just picked up that skin and I'm going to pat that on. So that way I have that moss on the lid. This is really pretty. Now she wears a lot of purples. You might not, can you, yep, you see it in the camera. You can see her beautiful purple dress. Fran always looks good in purple. Is that because you had blue as your mandatory color for so many years?
Because I'm old. Old ladies like purple.
Now just look already at, we haven't completed the blending process, but you can just see how, go ahead and open. You can just see how that heaviness disappears with with the darker color. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take my fluffy blending brush just real quickly to show you. As you use this blending brush, I love just doing little circles from the corner in towards the nose, and you just blend, blend, blend until you have enough of the color blended. Now notice I'm not going back, I'm picking my brush up, starting again in the corner and going in. Now I want to add a little bit more here. So I lightened it up a little bit more than I want to. So I'm going to go back. And this is part of just learning your own eye shape and the way your eye reacts to the colors being together. Okay, so just look up for that eye. So pretty. Okay, perfect. And then I will do the same on this one. And we're going to finish it up with some Merlot and black eyeliner. Fran, are you somebody who thinks you would use eyeliner?
I have never used eyeliner, so it's going to be interesting.
I'm going to go ahead and do it. It is fine to do a look like this without eyeliner. And I'm going to take this. We have a couple brushes that come in our brush kit. This is one of my favorite. This is called the smudge brush. But then this is the contour brush. So I'm going to take the contour brush and use a little bit of the Merlot right here. And I'm gonna, let me start with your right eye. Again, lifting up, I'm gonna push that color in here, and I'm gonna push it right again. Notice how the eyeball socket, we're going right into that little crease. That's what we call the crease. Technically, this whole area is a crease. So as she becomes more comfortable with color, she could totally pull this look even more deep. And I'm blending, so you can stay with that same direction where the outer area, the taller part of the brush always is on the corner, because you want to go in towards the nose. If I needed to blend it the other direction, I would turn my brush. So again, the pointier part of the brush is where I'm starting, and then I would go in the other direction. But since my color is in the corner, I'm going to actually turn my brush now. Notice that this brush is angled, which you can do with a horizontal kind of blend, or if you turn it vertically, you have more space, more of the brush, the bristles to push that color. So we're getting that nice purple hue on the corner. So hopefully you guys can see that. Go ahead and turn it a little bit that way. See that right there? Now, this brush for the smudge, if I take the same Merlot and I wanted to get it in like an eyeliner, this is great because I can smudge it, which means the bristles are pretty stiff. Go ahead and look up to the ceiling. So I'm just going to take that little bit of color. Fran doesn't have a lot of hair on the bottom of the lash, so we're not going to bring tons of attention there. We want that attention to be more on the top. So as I have that color, you can see that right there. Okay, I'm going to pause and we'll come back to our final mascara.